While you're watching this video, Americans are losing billions of dollars to what might be the most sophisticated investment scam of our generation. One that promises rare earth mining fortunes but delivers nothing except empty promises and financial ruin. This isn't just another get-rich-quick scheme. It's a carefully orchestrated web of deception that's exploiting America's desperate need for strategic mineral independence while China tightens its grip on the global supply chain. Here's what's actually happening behind the headlines. Companies across the United States are making extraordinary claims about rare earth discoveries that simply don't exist. Take Ukraine's recent assertion that it possesses $500 billion worth of rare earth deposits. That number sounds impressive until you realize it represents 147 times the value of the entire global rare earth market. The mathematical impossibility becomes clear when you understand that Ukraine's claimed reserves would equal 1.5 times the value of the entire world's rare earth production for the next century. Yet this fictitious figure has been used to justify continued American aid and military support. The deception runs much deeper than foreign claims. Right here in Wyoming, American Rare Earths initially reported discovering 2.34 billion metric tons of rare earth minerals at their Halleck Creek site. Technical analysis reveals the actual extractable rare earth oxides total just 7.5 million tons, a 312-fold overstatement of the resource potential. The company continues seeking $456 million in development funding based on these inflated figures, despite the mathematical impossibility of their claims. This pattern repeats across the American rare earth sector. Ramaco Resources promotes its Brookmine project as containing rare earth reserves worth $37 billion. The company secured permits and government grants based on these projections, yet zero commercial rare earth production has begun. Texas has become a hotbed of rare earth investment fraud, with criminal organizations systematically targeting vulnerable investors through sophisticated phone and mail campaigns. The Texas State Securities Board issued emergency cease and desist orders against multiple entities for perpetrating systematic fraud, with criminals like Bradley Sherman Haycraft and Timothy Taylor facing indictments for illegally selling rare earth investments that never materialize. The scale of this deception becomes staggering when you examine the numbers. The entire global rare earth market was valued at just $3.39 billion in 2024, projected to reach $8.14 billion by 2032. Yet individual fraud schemes routinely claim values exceeding these figures by orders of magnitude. British authorities have documented extensive rare earth investment fraud, targeting consumers through phone sales operations, with unregulated companies selling rare earth bundles to retail investors at markups exceeding 750%. While Americans lose billions to these elaborate schemes, China maintains its processing monopoly through systematic price manipulation that makes legitimate Western rare earth projects economically unviable. Chinese rare earth processing operations achieve the world's lowest costs through minimal environmental regulations, subsidized energy, and suppressed labor costs. The cost differential is stark. Western rare earth processors require prices of $110 per kilogram to maintain profitability, while Chinese facilities operate profitably at $50 to $62 per kilogram. This artificial price suppression, achieved through environmental externalization and state subsidies, effectively prevents the development of competing rare earth processing capacity outside China. For every ton of rare earth elements produced, Chinese facilities generate 2,000 tons of toxic waste, including 13 kilograms of dust, 75 cubic meters of wastewater, and 1 ton of radioactive residue. The Bayan Obo mining complex in Inner Mongolia exemplifies this environmental catastrophe, where decades of unregulated rare earth processing have created a 4-square-mile toxic lake filled with heavy metals and radioactive thorium. The collapse of Molycorp, America's last major rare earth producer, illustrates the fundamental challenges facing Western rare earth development. Despite $1.7 billion in investment and initial stock prices reaching $75 per share, Molycorp filed for bankruptcy in 2015, when Chinese price competition made operations unsustainable. The Mountain Pass mine, once the world's largest rare earth producer, was ultimately sold for just $20.5 million, a fraction of the investment required to develop it. This dramatic value destruction demonstrates how Chinese market manipulation can systematically destroy Western rare earth investments, regardless of resource quality or technological capability. The irony is profound. Massive capital flows into fraudulent rare earth schemes that produce nothing, while legitimate American rare earth development remains chronically underfunded due to Chinese price manipulation. This misdirection of investment capital actively undermines American strategic interests by preventing the development of genuine rare earth processing capacity. The strategic implications are severe. The United States remains 80% dependent on Chinese rare earth imports for critical defense and technology applications. This dependency has reached crisis levels, with recent Chinese export restrictions causing immediate disruptions to American electric vehicle and defense production. While Americans chase phantom mining fortunes promoted by fraudsters, China continues to strengthen its stranglehold on the technologies that will define the 21st century. The rare earth scam epidemic ultimately reflects a broader failure to understand the strategic importance of materials processing in the global economy. Breaking Chinese rare earth dominance requires sustained government support for processing infrastructure development, not just mining projects. The recent Department of Defense investment in MP Materials represents a positive step, but the $400 million commitment pales beside the decades of Chinese state investment that created their current monopoly. As we move forward, the question becomes whether America can develop the political will and economic commitment necessary to build genuine rare earth processing capacity while simultaneously protecting investors from the elaborate fraud schemes that continue to plague this critical industry. The stakes couldn't be higher. America's technological independence and national security hang in the balance, while billions in investment capital continues flowing into schemes that produce nothing but empty promises and financial devastation.